Iran war and now ceasefire for 5 days. Everything happened so dynamically, changing so dynamically, disrupting the world imports, disrupting the exports, increase of logistics, challenging your production infrastructure, capital locking, price increases, inflation, a lot of chaos onto the streets. One small place in the world, which is a base of energy supply, which itself is a primary raw material for everything to run and move from place to place, is on war. And we don't know whether the war will finally end or is it going to enter into a different trajectory. But damage is already done. What is the extent of damage? No one has assessed it. No one has reported it. Because unless we know what is the real damage happened in this war in the Gulf region, where the major source of energy is exported to all the globe, it is very difficult to understand what is the impact on the supply chain, thereby an impact on the manufacturing output, which in turn will be able to meet the required demand or will push up prices, putting pressure on inflation. And all this boils down to one single person on planet Earth, that is human being, you and I. The price what is paid for all the decision makers across the world is always the humans on the planet. And there is no exception to this war as well. So in these circumstances, every corporate balance sheet is punctured. No one is an exception, be it a small scale industry or an MSME or a large corporate or an enterprise. Everyone are hit because it is a cascading roller effect which impacts everyone in the ecosystem. You call it bottom to top or top to bottom. Every path is affected with either the raw material or the semi-finished good or a finished good or a receivable management or eventually sale itself happening or not is a question mark. Because when such an inflation and the price pressures keep mounting on, there is every possibility that consumers will keep away most of the discretionary spending and will spend only towards food security, because without which survival is not going to happen. So in these circumstances, who gains are only those service companies which are export oriented, because in this entire war path, what has happened is rupee getting depreciated. But if you look at the larger picture, what has been achieved? I would say dollar dominance. There was always questions about, can dollar be considered as a safe haven? And now, with most of the currencies depreciating against the dollar, once again the story is woven back to Fed, where the dominance of dollar is achieved. You can see for your own country, which is our own India. Today, the forex rate as we talk is close to 93 point decimal and decimal. We have seen 85, we have seen 87, we have seen 89, we have seen stability at 90, 91, and now we are at 93, which itself is signaling that there is a lot of inflationary pressure. There will be a lot of pressure on how the interest rates are going to move forward, which again puts back the theory of dollar dominance. As you can see, even the gold slipped from its top to where it is today, almost 20% correction. You are seeing silver prices down by 50% from its peak. You're seeing markets crashing by 14%. All these are nothing but an adjustments to the currency, because the investors' buoyancy of buying these asset classes or securities has different assumptions than where currently the world is into. So when the assumptions gets mismatched, the cash flows and margins gets triggered. And that is where a cascading impact across all the securities we are seeing. So in this environment, what should corporates do? I would say stay resilient. Don't take impulsive decisions. Have patience. Go through this pain period. Negotiate with your vendors. Negotiate with your bankers. Negotiate with your suppliers. And wherever possible, adopt the best practices of receivables management. This is the biggest weakness of most of the MSMEs. So if receivable management is handled well, working capital is utilized well, companies can adapt to such economic shocks where they are never part of it, where they have never factored in their business model. It's just 5 years from the time we have recovered COVID, and one more black swan event happened. It is very difficult to factor these kind of large scale economic shocks every 5 years and again asked to recoup with very limited capital availability and with very limited flexibility towards availability of fixed capital at lower interest rates deters the production, deters the growth of the GDP. Today, the government has to come forward and announce immediate measures like it has already announced during the COVID time. I don't see this an event separate than the COVID because the situations may be different, but the pressures in the balance sheet are the same. Because today, if you have to do an export, it's a near nightmare. If you have to keep the production going on without stopping, it's again a nightmare. Who will bear the warehouse cost? Who will bear the logistic cost? Who is going to bear the export insurance? Who is going to bear the cost if the production comes to an halt? So there are many questions which are similar to the conditions what expressed in COVID. It's just that we are still on the streets, roaming around freely, unlike we were sitting in home. But the balance sheets are completely different. It's a big economic shock currently we are passing through. The only positive is demography and geography where we are residing currently. The domestic demand is still strong, but to what extent it will be strong? Because companies have to pass on the increased inflationary pressures of the raw materials to the customers ultimately. What it going to affect is the morning breakfast, the afternoon lunch, evening snack, and the dinner, which is much bigger than increase of prices in the cars, which are discretionary. So the impact from Gulf has gone to the kitchens of India. So that means impact is real, inflation is real. As you can see, induction stoves are not available. They're out of stock. So as we always talk about diversification of securities, today it's time to talk of diversification of gadgets. Be it your kitchen or be it your cars or bikes. You need to have a diversification of ICE engines as well as EVs. But without understanding your usage, don't jump to EVs. Don't get into FOMO mode. Most of the times, the mistakes happen because of the FOMO mode. So, in these journey, how to balance is equally important for a corporate balance sheet as well as to the individual balance sheet. There will be pressures, there will be pains, there will be challenges, but we need to cross the bridge because turbulence always provides an equal amount of opportunity, and we need to be there to grab this opportunity. There are many factors which one needs to think about harder in these times. It's not everyone's cup of tea to interpret the balance sheet or the P&L at this hour and to frame strategies. We are always there to help you as LK. In case you want our help to understand your balance sheet and your P&L, where it got hit because of this war kind of an economic shock, and whether the decisions what you're taking is on the right path or not. As LK, we are always there to help. So, three parties which we need to negotiate. One is vendors, another one is suppliers, third is bankers. Please talk to them, have conversation, and see what best support you can get from all these three parties, which are the three pillars for ensuring that you continue to be there in the business in green and you're ready to grab the opportunity which comes after the turbulence. Don't take any emotional decision. Be rational. More importantly, have patience. You're not alone in this pain. Every fellow businessman, every fellow Indian is part of your pain. No one is exceptional unless they are blessed with so much of currency, which is a very small, minuscule percentage in this corporate world or in this business world of India. Hence, most of the businesses will be facing a similar kind of a risk, a similar kind of a trade off. Any decisions which are irrational at this point of time are going to backfire. So, before you take a strategic direction, need of the hour is understand the trend, make your trend a friend, and negotiate with your friends of vendor, supplier, and banker, which works to your business advantage. And stay relevant because I strongly believe every turbulence will give an equal opportunity.